I've watched that video countless times, and it sure looks like Brittney Griner says, white girl.
Is the WNBA ready to crumble under the weight of its own hypocrisy? The meteoric rise of Caitlin Clark has exposed a deep-seated resentment within the league, a stark contrast to the desperate need for relevance that has plagued the WNBA for years. While Clark's record-breaking crowds should be celebrated as a miracle, a lifeline thrown to a struggling league, instead we see eye rolls, thinly veiled attacks, and a stunning display of self-sabotage orchestrated by those who should know better. The question isn't just about tone deafness, it's about the blatant disregard for the very thing keeping the WNBA afloat. This isn't a minor disagreement. It's a full-blown crisis of leadership and vision, and the consequences could be devastating for the league's future. The cracks are showing, and the foundation is starting to shake. But the real story is far more complex and shocking than you might imagine.
Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. She says WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now, it's like there's large gatherings of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score, like we're there for their entertainment. You are! The whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either my performance or some...
Stephen A. Smith, the outspoken commentator known for his no-nonsense approach and uncanny ability to dissect even the most nuanced situations, has finally reached his breaking point. For months, he's watched the WNBA fumble its golden opportunity, a chance to catapult itself into the mainstream spotlight, thanks to Caitlin Clark's undeniable talent and charisma. Now, he's unleashing a truth bomb of epic proportions, a verbal smackdown that leaves no room for polite disagreement. This isn't just another hot take. It's a meticulously researched and passionately delivered indictment of the league's baffling response to its own success. He's not just yelling, he's pleading with the WNBA to wake up before it's too late, before its own egos and internal conflicts lead to its downfall. Prepare for a masterclass in insightful commentary, a fiery analysis that will leave you breathless and questioning everything you thought you knew about the WNBA.
To be honest with you folks, the WNBA already set a precedent. It doesn't matter what Brittney Griner said. It doesn't matter what Brittney Griner said, because they've already shown us they don't need evidence, they don't need substance, they don't need any type of proof at all to launch a bogus investigation into Indiana Fever fans, so they shouldn't need any substance, any basis, any evidence to launch an investigation into any other fan, any other player, any other group. The WNBA set.
For those who have followed Stephen A. Smith's commentary on the WNBA, his current outburst comes as no surprise. For months, a simmering frustration has been brewing, a slow burn fueled by witnessing the league actively undermine its own potential. This isn't simply about basketball strategy or player performance. It's about a profound failure of leadership, a refusal to acknowledge the transformative impact of a single rookie player. He's not just venting his frustrations, he's issuing a desperate plea, a warning that the WNBA risks losing everything it has gained through years of struggle if it continues down this path of self-destruction. The stakes are high, the future uncertain, and Stephen A. Smith is the only one brave enough to shout the uncomfortable truth from the rooftops. He sees the writing on the wall, and he's not afraid to share what he sees.
Brittney Griner was in a Russian prison. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America on home soil, would not have too much to complain about. Especially something like this. Fans in every sport. She described the fan.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what sport you are. It doesn't matter what sport you pick. That's how fans act in every arena.
The seeds of this conflict were sown months ago, perhaps even from the moment Caitlin Clark first stepped onto the court. While many in the WNBA treated her like an uninvited guest, a temporary anomaly rather than a game changer, Stephen A. Smith recognized her transformative power. He didn't just see potential. He saw undeniable, data-driven proof of her impact. While others were blinded by their own egos and preconceived notions, he was meticulously compiling evidence, using hard numbers to illustrate the reality that Clark wasn't just the future of the WNBA. She was the present, the engine driving the league's unprecedented growth. He was the lone voice of reason in a sea of denial, and now his predictions are coming to fruition, exposing the league's short-sightedness for all to see. The truth, backed by irrefutable evidence, is finally out. The question of Caitlin Clark's impact on WNBA ratings hangs heavy in the air, a question that Stephen A. Smith himself has posed. While the uncertainty remains, the potential consequences are staggering. It's like watching someone complain about poverty while sitting on a pile of gold, oblivious to the wealth within their grasp. The analogy perfectly captures the WNBA's current predicament. Stephen is the one desperately shouting, "The gold is right there," while others engage in pointless arguments of whose treasure map is better, whose approach is more inclusive. He's the voice of reason, pointing to the clear and undeniable evidence, pleading with the league to recognize its own fortune before it's too late. The numbers are there, clear as day, yet some choose to ignore them.
We know this. Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year. According to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from the year earlier. 319%. 319%. All other teams still grew by double-digit percentages. So let's not forget that. But they didn't grow by 319%. That was Caitlin Clark, which means she's largely responsible for the overall league attendance records. Merchandise sales were also up 450% for the WNBA, according to Fanatics, and Clark was the top-selling player and is fifth among athletes across all.
Let's talk hard numbers, because apparently some within the WNBA still believe that positive vibes are sufficient to pay the bills. The stark reality is that games featuring Caitlin Clark average a staggering 1.178 million viewers, while games without her attract a mere 394,000. That's a phenomenal 199% difference, a chasm so vast it represents a complete paradigm shift in the league's viewership. Clark's presence nearly triples the audience size. The Indiana Fever's season opener against the Chicago Sky, a game featuring Clark, drew an unprecedented 2.7 million viewers on ABC, setting a new record for the most-watched WNBA game across ESPN platforms. This isn't a coincidence. It's a testament to Clark's power to captivate audiences and bring the WNBA into the mainstream. Ignoring her impact is not just blind. It's actively sabotaging the league's own success. The numbers scream it loud and clear. Stephen A. Smith's frustration boils over as he witnesses the WNBA's inadequate response to its own success. Instead of celebrating Clark's meteoric rise and the unprecedented viewership it brings, the league offers tepid press releases and generic social media posts. It's as if they're embarrassed by their own good fortune, too afraid to acknowledge the transformative power of one player. He's seen firsthand how Clark has shattered viewership records, packed arenas, and pushed women's basketball into the mainstream consciousness. Yet, some within the league act as if she's undeserving of the attention, a sentiment that only fuels Stephen's simmering anger. The disconnect is deafening, and the consequences could be catastrophic. This isn't just about numbers. It's about acknowledging the reality of the situation.
That draws viewers to the WNBA, and her absence over the next 2 weeks due to that quad strain is providing further evidence of that. Then everybody needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that wave. I'm going to be really interested in seeing how the ratings are going to look without her over the next 2 weeks. Let's make sure we come back and ask me this exact same question after she's been gone for those 2 weeks.
Enter Brittney Griner, a veteran player who spent years playing in nearly empty arenas, only to witness a sudden surge in popularity thanks to Caitlin Clark. Instead of celebrating this unprecedented growth, Griner, according to reports, allegedly responded with negativity and resentment. It's a jarring contrast. Years of playing before sparse crowds, followed by a sudden influx of attention, only to meet with complaints. It's akin to complaining about a warm house after years of enduring freezing temperatures. The hypocrisy is palpable, and Stephen A. Smith isn't buying it. He recognizes Clark's extraordinary talent, her marketing savvy, her ability to elevate women's basketball to new heights. But some within the league, blinded by jealousy and insecurity, seem determined to undermine her success. The contrast is stark and upsetting.
And also, news just came out. Ratings are higher than it's ever been for the WNBA.
Yeah.
Congrats to Caitlin Clark. It's crazy how that works.
I mean, what are you going to do? Proof's in the pudding.
Girl out of Iowa.
Exactly.
Who can pull up from the state next door.
Yeah.
And light up an entire arena, every arena.
The resentment towards Caitlin Clark's rise, particularly among some within the league, stems from a complex intersection of factors. Her success as a young white star in a league with a predominantly black history has sparked a palpable tension, a resentment that runs deeper than simple sports rivalry. Stephen A. Smith has consistently highlighted the league's growth: chartered flights, skyrocketing ratings, increased exposure, all directly linked to Clark's influence. Yet, instead of celebrating this progress, some continue to harbor resentment, revealing a disturbing undercurrent of prejudice and self-interest. The true motives behind this resistance are far more insidious than a simple disagreement over playing styles or strategies. It's a complex issue that deserves a deeper look.
When it was really all said and done, we know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had. They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because...
A disturbing incident during a game between the Indiana Fever and Atlanta Dream has brought this simmering tension to a head. Footage surfaced showing Brittney Griner allegedly directing a racial slur toward Caitlin Clark. The video, which quickly went viral, shows Griner seemingly calling Clark a derogatory term and adding, according to multiple lip readers, a racially charged insult. The clip sparked outrage and accusations of hypocrisy, exposing the double standards that plague not only the WNBA but also the broader sports world. This is the same player who was rescued from Russian detention in a high-profile prisoner exchange. Yet, she allegedly made racist remarks, a stark contrast to the image of a national hero. This incident has ignited a firestorm of controversy, and the WNBA's response, or lack thereof, has only exacerbated the situation. The WNBA's response to Griner's alleged racist remarks has been nothing short of deafening silence. For nearly 36 hours, the league remained mum, refusing to comment or launch an investigation, a stark contrast to their swift actions in previous incidents. This silence speaks volumes about their priorities, biases, and double standards. Their response is particularly jarring considering their previous swift investigations into less serious matters. The hypocrisy is glaring, and the lack of accountability only fuels the outrage. The silence is deafening, and it exposes a deep-seated problem within the league's leadership.
Clark. Now I've taken hits because I was calling it from day one. You got people that are resentful towards her, but it's really not about her, guys. It's about what she represents. Before she ever came along, there were a lot of outstanding basketball players who happened to be black females that was doing their thing on the WNBA level. And they never got this kind of shine. This girl, the Golden Goose, comes along and she wreaks havoc. She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting. 4th in the league, her rookie.
Stephen A. Smith's unwavering defense of Caitlin Clark becomes even more crucial in light of the WNBA's inaction. While the league establishment often ignored or even resented Clark's rising influence, Stephen stood as her most vocal advocate, speaking truth to power. His support extends beyond simple admiration. It's a recognition of Clark's transformative impact on the league. He highlights the injustice of the situation, pointing out the double standards and the league's failure to acknowledge Clark's contribution to its growth. He's not just defending a player, he's defending the future of the WNBA. His voice is a crucial counterpoint to the league's silence and inaction. Stephen A. Smith's statement, "There was resentment toward her, and that's why I said it's stupid," encapsulates the core issue at hand. The resentment towards Caitlin Clark isn't about her skill or performance. It's about her success threatening the established order. It's a resistance to change, a refusal to acknowledge the transformative power she brings to the league. The statement is a powerful indictment of the league's internal politics and the petty jealousies that are hindering its growth. He cuts through the noise and exposes the underlying issues with clarity and precision.
He said Brittney Griner, who Biden traded for the Merchant of Death, called Caitlin Clark the white female referee trash, effing white girls after getting fouled out. So that was Bobby Borak. He stated that on Twitter today, I believe. Watch this. So this is the call here, guys.
The ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Stephen A. Smith's unwavering support for Caitlin Clark highlights the league's failure to recognize her undeniable impact. He understands what many in the WNBA seem to overlook. The league is trending upward, and Clark is directly responsible for that progress. It's not rocket science. It's simple arithmetic. Yet, for those more interested in protecting their egos than embracing success, it might as well be an unsolvable equation. Clark's influence is undeniable, and Stephen's vocal support underlines the importance of recognizing talent and progress, even when internal politics try to obscure it. The contrast between his perspective and the league's inaction is stark and telling.
And what I was saying to everybody is ride the wave. Rising tide lifts all boats. The girl is spectacular. It's not like she's not a scrub. She's not only can play, she's a star caliber player who draws this attention. And maybe it's because that fan base that she has and her being a young white lady contributes to it. So what? Benefit from it. And then you have a lot of folks that have come to the defense of numerous WNBA players because they were pointing out, like, this has been going on before long and people are not hating on her. It's not about hating on her. It's that you feel she is getting a level of attention that you deserved and you warranted long before she ever came along. It's understandable.
Stephen A. Smith has consistently highlighted the unfair double standards surrounding Caitlin Clark. He emphasizes that Clark has actively worked to grow the sport, lifting others and pushing women's basketball forward. Yet, some within the league have responded with resentment rather than support. He recognizes that Clark didn't create the systemic issues plaguing women's basketball. She simply possesses the talent and drive to bring the sport into the mainstream. Instead of celebrating this progress, certain individuals have chosen bitterness and politics over gratitude and growth. This is the real injustice, and Stephen's voice shines a light on the need to acknowledge Clark's positive impact. The hypocrisy is evident, and his words expose the truth. Let's translate this into the language even the most stubborn executives understand: dollars and cents. Caitlin Clark's game before her injury drew 2.22 million viewers on CBS, making it the second highest-rated WNBA game ever on the network. Even in a loss, she delivered numbers most WNBA games can only dream of. These aren't just statistics. They represent lost revenue, lost opportunities, and a profound lack of foresight on the part of the WNBA leadership. The numbers are a stark reminder of the consequences of ignoring undeniable talent and the potential for growth. They speak volumes about the league's failure to recognize its own best interest.
Just in the short amount of time that I watched, I remember back a while back before Caitlin was in this, of all these female professional players bitching about not getting paid what the men do, and then it was made clear that when you have the draw, when you can bring in the money, the revenue, the advertising dollars, then you'll get paid more money. Caitlin Clark has made that happen for the entire league, but these girls are doing everything in their power to destroy the golden goose that benefits them as a collective, And the referees, it looks like somebody has paid these high school referees to basically ignore any foul.
Imagine the primetime slots without Caitlin Clark. Picture trying to explain to TV executives why ratings have plummeted by 200%. How would you convince sponsors that the league is still worth their investment when its biggest star is sidelined? Steven doesn't have to imagine. He's meticulously tracked the ratings declines, documenting every painful drop with the precision of a scientist and the conviction of someone who's been proven right. The numbers don't lie. They paint a clear picture of Clark's impact on the league's viewership and revenue potential. Her absence represents a significant financial loss, and the league's failure to recognize this is nothing short of astonishing. Stephen A. Smith's defense of Caitlin Clark is crucial because he grasps the bigger picture, a vision that seemingly escapes the WNBA leadership. This isn't just about one game or one season, it's about the entire ecosystem of women's basketball. Clark attracts new fans who might never have watched the WNBA otherwise, sparking interest and excitement. But when she's injured or faces resentment within the league, those potential fans are lost, and bringing them back is nearly impossible. The impact on ticket sales, merchandise, and viewership is dramatic and undeniable. The numbers tell a story that the WNBA seems determined to ignore.
You can definitely argue that the WNBA has been taking a hit ever since Caitlin Clark has been hurt, right? And you can also argue that the Indiana Fever have taken a hit since Caitlin Clark has been hurt, because this is bad. Right here isn't a surprise, though. The cheapest Fever ticket before Caitlin Clark's injury was $41. Without Caitlin Clark, it's $3. Now, that is crazy. The Indiana Fever have been on a 3-game losing streak ever since Caitlin got hurt.
The undeniable truth is that Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's biggest box office draw. Stephen A. Smith recognizes this in a way that the WNBA leadership apparently doesn't. He sees that Clark isn't just another player. She's a phenomenon, a bridge between the league's past struggles and its potential for future growth. Her presence represents a golden opportunity, a chance for unprecedented success. The league's failure to recognize this is a profound oversight, a missed opportunity that could have long-lasting consequences. The irony is painful, and the implications are far-reaching. What truly infuriates Stephen A. Smith is that this entire situation was entirely preventable. When you have a player whose ratings rival NBA games, whose presence transforms the narrative around women's basketball, protecting that asset should be a top priority. The WNBA's failure to do so, its tolerance of on-court attacks, its silence in the face of alleged racist remarks, its disregard for Clark's value, is a catastrophic error in judgment. Now, Stephen sits back with an "I told you so" that will resonate for years to come. The league had a once-in-a-generation talent, and it let her slip through its fingers. The consequences will be felt for years to come.
In fact, ticket sales are down 70% in many places. The Fever played the Mystics 2 nights ago. The cheapest ticket before her injury was announced was $41, okay? The cheapest one. After her injury was announced and people knew that she wasn't going to be playing, the lowest ticket price dropped to $3. This is the Caitlin Clark effect. The WNBA doesn't quite realize what they have in Caitlin Clark. She is the absolute golden goose, the golden ticket. She is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. They must protect.
If you enjoyed this in-depth look at the controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark and the WNBA, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Share your thoughts, opinions, and any related insights you might have in the comments section below. Let's keep the conversation going.